Yes, people, what is going on? Would you believe it? Another one. Yeah, another W in Formula One. 2 races in, 2 wins for McLaren. This time, perfect Piastri, as you've put it well there, Mahad. I'm joined, of course, Mahad from the Pit Stop Fracker. Talk to me, brother. What is going on?
I'm good. How's it going, people? Let me just sip my tea.
Sip that tea.
It's a sweet life, guys. That's technically 3 wins in a row. And life can't get any sweeter. This was a 1-2. Beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Can you believe that in China, of all places, because China's not been great to us in the past, and here we are. China are doing their thing. We're doing our thing in the Chinese Grand Prix.
It's wonderful. We're just like striking off achievements here and there. Had a little bit of a bit of a wobble in the sprint race. Obviously, good to see Hamilton win because he's a son of McLaren, you know. But when it came to the points on the table, we maximized.
Absolutely, the points were there, and you know, do you remember last week, bro, when we were talking about one Oscar Piastri, and we spoke about how everything was going so well until it absolutely went to chaos.
Yeah,
and we predicted, right? I said Oscar is gonna bounce back. I thought he'd win the sprint. I didn't think he would win the main race, but I thought he'd win the sprint, and he did. He did better. Pole and race win. I'm sorry, that is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely perfect on the Sunday. And on the Saturday as well, he's the one that in qualifying that didn't mess up, didn't make any mistakes, and banged in the lap. And there we are, man. First pole position. That monkey's off his back now.
It's off the back, man. I mean, what's your analysis in terms of, or let me just say, what's your headlines before we get into the individual drivers and everything else? Like, what is your headline, let's say, for the Chinese Grand Prix weekend?
So, first headline is they brought in a technical directive, and the streets were saying it was from McLaren because of a flexi wing, a rear flexi wing, whatever. Yeah. Turns out we still got a 1-2, and we're not any slower. Well, and apparently, Alpine had to change their rear wing, and it got nerfed. So, you guys keep saying, McLaren are cheating, instead of just saying, oh, yeah, look, the technical team's done a good job. They know what they're doing and so on and so on. They have to scrimp and scrape and just like Red Bull, like, how are they doing this? And once again, defied the odds and left the fastest car of the weekend. So that's one of my headlines right there. Obviously, the Oscar Piastri pole position. Got the monkey off the back, hooked up the lap. Apparently, he was 2 tenths down before he got to the hairpin at the end. Got all the time in sector 3 back and slapped it on pole. So absolutely fantastic work. Great bounce back from last week because last Australia was really bad at the end after a really good weekend so far, and bouncing back from his own race to do that was absolutely fantastic. And lights the flags, win as well. When I don't see you on my camera, if I don't see you on my TV feed, that's all I want.
That's missing
all I'm after, Oscar and Lando, man. If I don't see you on my feed, you've done your job.
I was missing him, and I can't lie. I was like, "Where's Oscar? Like, where there's no coverage of Oscar, and this is just what we like." Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's just what we like. My headline is straight away. It's what I feel vindicated for last week when I said after, even though what happened in Australia, I said Oscar Piastri is in this title race because it was I didn't feel for 1 second that he would actually. Like some people in the comments last week said that, Oscar might get into his own head. This might not do well for him. He still was thinking about it post-race, this, that, and the other. And I thought, you know what? If there's something I realize and know about this guy, he does not, it doesn't feel to me, just the demeanor of him, that he's never too high, he's never too low. So he's right there. And I think he just sticks to the logic and sticks to the facts, sticks to the basics. Like, if I've got a fast car, guess what? I can win races. If I put it together, I can win races. I feel so vindicated because he's so in this title race. Like, it's mad. It's mad. That's my headline.
Clawed all the points back. P2 in the sprint race, although the car wasn't really dialed in like that. As you could see, Orlando, and managed to get the win as well. So, remember we spoke about it last week. Look, if you're that many points down, it's kind of scary. Man recovered it immediately.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Guys, remember, this is a Formula One. This is a McLaren channel. Yeah, dedicated to all things McLaren. We are McLaren bias. So any McLaren fan that you guys know that like Formula One content, that like McLaren content, make sure you get them involved in this. And do me a favor, guys, smash a like for Oscar Piastri's win. You know what I mean? Smash a like for the pole position. Smash a like for the 50th 1-2 in Formula One history.
I saw that. Was that beautiful?
That is lovely. I started doing.
I'm loving. I can't lie.
I started doing a stats shorts. Like I just did like a quick video on stats, and some of the stuff I saw, I said, "Oh, this is just beautiful. This is just beautiful."
I've got a new stat for you. Laps led in 2025.
Oh, I saw it.
109.
I heard you say that's your favorite song. It's your favorite song.
Ferrari won. Williams won. That's my favorite song.
That's my favorite song.
Nobody got more than 2 laps, you know?
Oh, mate, that is fun. What is going on? Like I saw the meme on our Twitter feed. You know, we used to pray for days like this. We actually did on this podcast.
100%.
We were 100%. We've been in the mire. Now we're talking 1-2s. By the way, 3 consecutive victories for McLaren in Formula One. Because if you include Abu Dhabi,
poles.
Of course, yeah, 3 consecutive poles. How can I forget? Of course, yeah, 3 consecutive poles. Like we haven't done that since like 2012, where we won like I think Hungary, Belgium, and Italy.
I think we're better than 2012 right now.
Low
2012 was a dogfight.
2012 what?
We had reliability issues. We had a lot of going on. Right now, I think off the back end of last year and this year, like we've just,
in terms of stability,
we're looking professional out there. We look like a professional outfit. I think in that race the China race, that's the kind of race that we kind of fumbled last year.
Yeah.
And now things are coming together. Like if you think about it, we're not had a 1-2 since Hungary, man. That shouldn't be the case.
Hungary, what? Yeah, Hungary. Yeah, you're right.
We should have sneaked a one in between that.
We should have had one, but definitely, absolutely. And that's credit to Oscar because really Norris was doing his bit. If we have it right, and Oscar was going through that mire every now and again where he was going through it, right?
Yeah,
and that's probably what leads to people's perception of Oscar in that sense of maybe he's not gonna bounce back straight away, and it might take him a bit of time, and blah blah blah. So Oscar's done his job, and Lando's normal service resumed for Lando. So anyway, but
Lando had like man went through the desert. He went through all the lows. The whole weekend he did a mad thing. Still ended up P2 at the end of it.
Can you imagine?
Because sprint and quality in the race was not good. Sprint race stinker.
No, sprint race stank.
Whatever score we're giving it at the end of the stream, it's not going to be good because of that.
It's not going to be solid, is it? Because we have to include the sprint week, the sprint part as well. Shootout included. But let's get through a few of these comments.
Everyone.
Big up to yourselves before we get into the nitty gritty of it all. Ella says, "Hi guys, finally we get to witness Piastri pole. Yeah. Oscar did an amazing job in Shanghai. Hope he delivers again." Absolutely. She goes on to say, Lando, on the other hand, not so great weekend, but he did a good job in the main race, especially with the brake issues. I was super stressed when George was closing the gaps and he managed to bring it home. Oh yeah,
my blood pressure went up.
The blood pressure.
I saw this guy dropping crazy time in the last lap. I said, "This is not good, man."
It was scary hours. Ella's also dropped her scores for the end of the show, so I'll bring those up. Don't you worry. Stefan Williams, hope you're good. Not gonna lie, that Ferrari double disqualification was just the icing on the cake for us on a weekend. Yeah, on a weekend where my boys get 1-2, get pole position. Oh, by the way, got first lap thanks to that disqualification. Yeah. Then they doubled it. Oh, mate, lovely stuff.
When I saw that, I was just like, "How beautiful is this Sunday, man?"
Do you know what though?
This is a dream.
The only thing I will say about is it the Leclerc one is that we need to not have tires part of the weighing. Do you get what I mean?
Like, because you can't go excessive wear. And they didn't count the broken wing because what they did was they put the replacement wing on when they were weighed.
They stuck it on anyway. I don't know, man. I feel like tires,
in the car, bro.
Tires is a weird one for me. How worn your tires are. Like if the tires are not like at a risk of like illegal,
Yeah,
the way is not illegal. What
you got to pick up the marbles in it on the way home.
That's what they. Leclerc picks up no marbles.
People think, when they go out onto the edge of the track, and they're like, people think, oh yeah, they're waving at the fans. No, they're picking up marbles, man. They're trying to get weight, man.
They're collecting because they know they're underweight.
Going offline, they're doing the whole shebang.
The debris that he's, but China didn't really have much in it because it was a brand new service. So
those surface was like gloss.
Oh, there you go then. There you go. Alex the Oracle says Scuderia Ferrero Rocher loves to make our weekends better every time. This is amazing.
They were talking crazy shit as well. Not to mind my language. They were talking crazy on the Saturday because they won the sprint race.
That's the thing, innit? They were too high. They were too high, those guys, man. They were way too high. Honestly, yeah, there you are. Shout out to Adam, says evening. Lovely weekend, big weekend from Piastri and needed after Melbourne 100%. Tricky weekend for Lando, but if that's a P2, I'll take it. Cars are legal. Can't say the same for another.
Imagine that's another storyline. Of all the things we're saying, our car is illegal. The next man's car is illegal, and they both get disqualified, and they've got the same points as Williams, and both their drivers have got less points than Lance Stroll.
Oh my God. Lastly, before we get on to the topic at hand, Drea says, look, good evening. 1-2 guys, but please, can we have only one race without any stress? Please. There's always something. My poor heart. I don't want to know what Lando felt.
This is life at the front, love.
This is it. Welcome to the front. Yeah. It's been a while.
Been a boring one. It would have been a boring one if the brake swing didn't happen at the end.
Yeah, it would have been certified boring. But
we would have been like, that operation done. You know what I mean? But that brake swing was like, that's something we've got to look at. Hopefully, it's just a one-time thing. We've not had reliability issues since Bahrain 2023.
No, we haven't. And coming across that, I was very much like, man, you forget that this is technology, this is car, like any random thing that you can't preempt can happen. Do you know what I mean? Like Sonoda's front wing, that he didn't even touch no one.
Man was just driving. And his front wing broke.
And his front wing just broke. He was fuming. After he'd done a 2-stop, he's fuming.
I didn't do
anything. But Drea goes on to say, Ferrari, after last year, I didn't expect them to screw the beginning of the season this up. You have to learn your lesson, Drea.
What's he saying about Ferrari?
What can go wrong will go wrong. We've said this years. Guys, like Drea, if you thought like you didn't expect this, you don't know Ferrari. You don't know Ferrari enough, surely, clearly. Yeah, big up to you guys, man. Richard, hope you're doing well. Evening, fellas. Am I at the right place of the celebration of my son? Listen,
Piastri's son.
Listen, is it Piastri? Oh, okay, Piastri's his son, yeah?
Yes.
Listen, Piastri's the man.
Hey, do you believe it now? I said he's in. He could win the title. I predicted it before the season.
Yeah, 100%. Piastri P1. Do you know what I mean? Perfect from pole. How many alliterations do you want? We could be here all day. Yeah, we could be. So you're damn right. Marina says, hello, gentlemen. Things are going well. They're going delightful. Steph Flo, what's going on, brother? Cheers. Back-to-back dubs. What a start for the season. Look, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. I want to start things off, though. We'll start things off with Mr. Lando Norris's performance, because I do want to end on a high. So Oscar's moment is coming afterwards. But Lando Norris, and you guys get your thoughts in the comments as well. We'll read those out. Yeah. What happened to him this weekend? Why is it just never smooth sailing sometimes with this boy?
I feel like it was one of those ones where he didn't look comfortable in the car whatsoever. And considering he only got one practice session to set things up, he was like...
People made a big thing about that, by the way. The whole, the car's too hard to drive. And it's like...
correct me if I'm wrong. From pre-season, like, you man got to adapt.
By the way, fast cars are not easy to drive. We said this last week.
Ask Max Verstappen. People think
ask Max's teammates.
Ask Max Verstappen in his 2023 car if it was easy to drive or hard to drive. It's probably hard to drive, but because it was fast, it's dunking time on the grid.
Yeah,
And one thing I will say, just growing up watching McLaren, McLaren cars are not easy to drive ever. Hamilton's car was not easy to drive. Hakkinen's car was not easy to drive. Raikkonen's car was not easy to drive. It's not. All they do is they design the car, the fastest car, and then they say, here you go. Are you that driver to adapt to?
Yeah.
And this weekend, Piastri was the one who adapted quicker. With Norris, he only got the hang of it and adapted literally like halfway through qualifying.
Yeah.
Real qualifying on the Saturday. So
proper,
the sprint quali and the sprint race was a write-off.
Oh, the sprint quali wasn't there. The sprint quali was
didn't know what he had to do to drive the car. And I feel like maybe his weekend would have been different if it was a normal weekend where you can have 3 practice sessions and kind of like dial the car in. And have time with the car to just kind of set it up the way he wants it to drive. But to kind of figure it out, end of Q2. And it's already too late.
It's peak.
Because Piastri already kind of dialed it in from before.
What was it? SQ3 was about 0.4, but Piastri was 0.4 faster.
And the sprint, we saw the mistake at the start. Running the grass, just chilling behind Lance Stroll. You get me? For a while. Just not good whatsoever. So we're gonna have to write that one up. It should kind of remind me of Spa 2023. Do you remember Spa 2023 when it was a sprint race in Spa and Oscar? Remember when Oscar got P2 in that?
Yeah.
He's kind of duking it out with Max.
Yeah.
That weekend as well, Lando could not get that car dialed in. That sprint bit, forget about it. It was a myth, and then Oscar managed to get that all sorted out and had the advantage over the weekend. So he's just gonna have to just go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, what did I learn from this? I'm gonna have to drive a little bit different to extract whatever I need to extract out of the car.
Yeah,
they both said that the car's tricky to drive. It's a bit of a diva. So it's really about, okay, how are we gonna get the best out of this car and who's gonna adapt the quickest on any given weekend. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. And I think the person that does adapt to it quicker is going to be the one that has the advantage over the weekend.
100%. I think, like, even to Z's comment here, the man does not enjoy sprint weekends. I think, when you consider it just seemed to be like, because the car is difficult to drive, you do need more reps and more laps.
You need rhythm in it.
You need to get that rhythm in, as for sure. Like Alex says as well, Norris couldn't find the rhythm with it. Rough one to take, but the floor was P2. That's the floor.
About it like that. This is the thing, and I think if it is going to be a championship fight between Piastri and Lando, this is what's going to make the difference between the two, right? It's not about their peaks, because the peaks are always going to be P1.
We know.
Oh, we already know that both of them can do that, right? It's about on your bad days, where do you end up, right?
Exactly.
So on a bad day for Oscar, he ended up P9 because he went off the track, right? And on an awful weekend for Norris, he's still P2 in the race.
That tells you.
When you have your bad days, where are you? Are you going to be P2 or are you going to be lower than that? And that will probably determine it. So if Oscar starts having a bad weekends, but on his bad weekend is P2 anyway, that bodes well for him, innit? But it's really about, okay, where do you end up? Because Norris got punished, but he didn't get punished that deep because it was a sprint race and it's only single points. So he only lost a little bit of points. If that was an actual race and he finished P6 or P5, he's cooked.
Yeah, because the gaps for those ahead. Because what did he get? 1 point, I guess, from the sprint?
Yeah. He got 1 point from the sprint, and then Oscar got 7. And that's second to Hamilton's 8 point. Do you know what I mean? So it's a sprint race, points are not that deep.
They're not.
If that happened where he didn't dial it in and he went into quali and in the race and he was there, it wouldn't have been good.
That gap between P2 and P6 in a normal race, the points are massive.
The fact that the thing is, if you are a Lando fan out there, the positive side is that he turned it around in the race. And, had that brake issue. I think he had it for 20 laps. I think Stella said 20 laps. He had that brake issue.
But the thing is,
man set fast his lap.
And the fact he's getting told, look, mate, that's easy, because I think he
wanted to have a go at Oscar, innit?
That's the thing. I was going to say, was he jealous of Oscar's performance? I'm not sure. Or like,
I want to say jealous. He just wanted to. I feel like maybe he was robbed of the opportunity to have a go at Oscar.
To go, yeah.
And I wouldn't say when I mean robbed, he robbed himself of it because he wasn't on it from the jump.
Yeah.
If you're on it, it's one of those ones he knows already. And this is probably the conversations behind closed doors, right? If you want to win the race, get on pole.
Basically, that's the verdict.
Your percentage chance of winning the race is by being on pole in it. So if you fail to get on pole, then you've kind of lessened your chance in it, because you're not going to get priority on pit stops. You're not going to get preferred strategy. You're going to have to just do your thing in it. But and he knew that himself, right?
Yeah.
So that's why he was like, let me just chill back. Let me save my tires. Let me attack in the last stint, right? But then the brake thing happened. It's over. You can't do it.
Yeah. Do you think he would have got him? Do you think Lando? Comment down below, guys.
I've seen. The thing is, I've seen over the years. I've seen Lando overtake Oscar in it. Yeah, but that's more. That wasn't when we were fighting for a race win. Race wins are different.
Yeah,
we've not actually seen these two guys racing each other wheel to wheel for a win.
Yeah,
I've seen it in Canada for P10 or something like that. I've not seen it for a real win.
That's very true.
So let's actually. I'm going to defer my answer because I need to see how Oscar actually defends in those scenarios.
No, that's fair.
I've got a pretty good idea how Lando would attack, but I just need to see. One thing I did notice about Lando, another positive before we move on to the Mr. Man of the weekend.
Sure.
I did notice that he's not do-dallying no more, is he? With the overtakes and the starts.
Yeah, true. That's a good point, actually.
Before he'd be a bit cautious and be like, "Oh, let me wait a couple of laps." This guy says straight away, "I'm taking Russell now."
That's a good spot. Yeah.
Usually he doesn't go at the first opportunity. This guy said, and I don't think he didn't go around the outside. He said, "I'm going on the inside." That's one other thing that we criticized him for last year. Like, why do you think you go around the outside everybody?
Every time.
Inside. So he within a lap, he went in the inside of George after he got overcut, and then bang. Got him straight away. Bang. Very, very good start. He had a better start than Piastri and George. So I don't want to hear anything about race starts anymore.
No, it's a good
race starts on the road that he's cooked.
That's a good point. That's a very good point there on Lando Norris. Let's have a look at your comments on this Lando Norris conversation. Adam says, he did say that he made changes before the main quali and it got his confidence back. So the improvement over the weekend was good to see. Not perfect, but good. Listen, what was it?
That's what we want to see, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. What was it? P3 in quali, P2 in the race.
Listen, you got the maximum result.
That's solid
for the team. So
that's solid.
You saw how dirty areas on that track. These men are on the same car. You can't really overtake anyway, man.
No,
the second you get close to the car in front, you get cooked. The tires are
who did that happen to? Somebody was literally
Hamilton did it to Verstappen.
Yes. That's
so Verstappen was like, "Oh, let me chill in this guy's mirror," and then he was finished.
It's madness.
Fried.
Yeah, it's funny how that dirty air works, man. Honestly, it's mad. Absolutely
I feel like we're
mad.
back in the old regs with the dirty air, because at the beginning of these regs, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. No, true. Drea says Lando explained it well in his press conference. He had no front and it was completely against his liking. Too much understeer. Only one practice session didn't help, I guess, but he recovered very well. I think everyone's of the same opinion. You know, it wasn't a good start, but my God, that's if you want to recover.
He treated that like a training weekend. That's what you got to do.
Basically,
like, figure out this car. Let me figure out this car and how it works in it. Because if you're leaving with people anyway, that's a good result. It's about stringing. If you think about it on a landscape thing, on a 360 view, of the season in races, he's P1, P2. That's good. Exactly. If you want to start stringing results together, P1, P2.
Oh, it's solid.
We're good to go.
Yeah. Adam Heddle says, do you think Japan, Lando can bounce back? 3 practice sessions, plenty of time to adapt the car. Listen, the streets are gonna be sad after Japan, because I think Japan, although I've got my eye on Max Verstappen with Japan, because I think he will do phenomenally well there, because he's
heard it's gonna rain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I genuinely think that with Japan, you've got Red Bull are in that. Well, I say Red Bull because whatever's going on at number 2, the number 2 driver over there is madness to me. What did you think on that news, by the way? The whole Lawson and Yuki business.
Hey, man, the man over there, I don't know what they're doing.
It's honestly,
it's a SHIT show over
there. Japan could look lovely for us, Adam, no doubt. Alex says Norris had everything thrown at him in the race. All that he didn't get thrown with him was mixed conditions.
I think he's had everything thrown at him in the first 2 races, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Norris wanted to prove a point. He wanted to say, "I'm faster without these issues. I could have won." Yeah, there was a little bit of
we're in the mind games, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of the cheekiness in there. But listen, Oscar. The thing is, what I like, I don't think Oscar will be phased by it though. Like I just see him sitting there, like, yeah, all right, mate, cheers. Like, thanks. You know, it's very unemotional.
Trying to do mind games with both of them. Russell. That's the guy that's trying to do mind games.
See Russell. You see Russell. And he's been solid, you know. Russell's had a solid start to the season. He's been bloody solid.
He's just floating in there, you know what I mean?
I don't like the way that he's still there. He's just around us. I don't like
annoying
it.
Fly.
I don't like it. Adam Heddle says Stella said Lando was upset at the brake issues because he saved tires and to try and get Oscar in the last 15. Yeah, as you mentioned there, Mahad. Yeah. It's them ones, isn't it? Like he was just unlucky. You know, he didn't even want it.
People were like, oh yeah. Kind of Oscar's backing him up, backing into him, whatever. Oscar's too slow. No, man, he wanted Oscar to go faster so he could save his tires to go at him later. He didn't want to race him there and then.
No, it was too early.
Race him at the end of the race. He didn't want to race him in the middle of the race.
Exactly.
People don't understand like that. Lando's a bit of a forward thinker in that sense. He's thinking ahead in the race. Oh, God, he's not like, let me take him there and then. He was planning.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
The Oracle goes, without the brake issues, they would have had a long battle. I couldn't tell you who would have come out on top, but they would have fought. Yeah,
I think the dirty air is too much. I think if you're in front, you're clean air, you've got the advantage, man. Look at Doohan and Hadjar. Hadjar was clearly faster than him, but Doohan was just doing his thing because he had the air in front of him.
The air in front, the cleaner air. Drea says, I think Lando would have gotten close, but dirty air, as you mentioned, was really bad in this race. Without a tire advantage, I don't think you would have been enough to overtake. Yeah. Z says, I also enjoyed how much he wasn't bogged down by his struggles with the car. That could have ruined the entire weekend.
Before you'd be like on Suicide Watch, man. You'd be like, I'm done. If you see interviews, I'm done. I don't know whatever. But he's all good, man. He's like he's taking the mature approach about it. He's really.
Do you know what? Nice it's
because his mentality is changing, and he's just like, okay, let me just learn through this. Let me learn this car. Let me just take these learnings forward. And he took these learnings from the Saturday onto the Sunday and improved.
He knows it's there. He knows it's there. He knows there's a title to go ahead and collect. He knows it this year. And I think him overreacting by race week 2, it would be silly. It'd be nonsense. And as you said it, I think he's got the long-term plan in his mind, well and truly in his thoughts. Thoughts on McLaren pitting Oscar first and risking Lando getting put behind Russell on the track, not to have a repeat of Hungary. What is the thing, reincarnation? You listen, Oscar qualified on pole. It's just what you said earlier. Piastri's on pole, he gets that dib. He gets those first dibs. And that's what you just said earlier. If you want to win this race, get on pole. You know, between the two McLaren boys.
Considering what we saw in the sprint race as well with the dirty air and how Hamilton just sailed off into the distance, you got to put it on pole.
You got to. Drea says, I was quite surprised he could overtake Russell so easily after the pit stop without a tire advantage. Didn't really expect it.
Yeah, and that's a change.
Because
remember, the same person as well. Remember last year in Spain?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He started on pole, and then he ended up behind George, and Max just took George immediately. He's like, bang, and Norris just dallied behind him.
There was a lot of dilly dally
behind him for no reason, and that lost him the race. Basically, he knows that I have to make the move immediately.
Oh, 100%. Last couple before we move on to the man of the hour. Ryan P says, I want to know what they changed in the sprint. Lando was in the mud and then pace was found. What do you think that was?
I don't know. I have no idea, but it's probably gonna be a balance thing. He knows he's gonna have to adapt his driving to get the most out of this car. So let's see how the next couple of races go. He's gonna probably he's driven worse cars to handle. Trust me.
Yeah. Jean Cartier says, look, celebrating. Get the champagne out, get the rose water out, get the whatever, the Diet Coke, whatever your beverage of choice is. Number 2C is cursed at Red Bull. Z says George is so busy with his transparent mind games.
He's so big, man, as well. It's so obvious about it. Yeah, the McLarens are a rocket ship. I'm just glad I got it on P2. But bro, chill out, man. Man, I feel like you're doing miracles out here. You got a fast car, man.
Oh dear. Reincarnation says, imagine if Max retires, Red Bull would be behind the junior team.
Probably.
Horrible scenes. Steph says, few mistakes from us, a couple DNFs, and Russell is your world drivers championship.
They're looking like they're very consistent, so we just need to keep an eye out on that. I've got one eye open on Mercedes. And Toto Wolff just said that we clearly have the second fastest car. We're the second fastest team. So they're aware of it as well. So they're in the hunt.
TSJ Awesome says, look, I've managed to find some time to tune in. We love the fact that you're here. Big up yourself. What a start to the season, boys. Listen, this TSJ, this is for you. This is what you guys deserve this, because you sat with us in the mud when we were there, bro, in the rain, in the mud, in the sleet and the snow. Yeah, this is for you. This is why we're here. This is why we do what we do. Drea says Russell is crikey, but he's also good.
Do you know what's so funny? Remember what I said? I said if we don't have the fastest car, we fumble. Who do I think is going to win? I said Russell.
You did.
You
did. I still think Verstappen has something to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Russell's there. Russell's there. Haley Wilson, big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. I'm honestly so happy with the way Lando has just handled himself so far this year. His confidence has grown, and also love that Oscar was able to have a good bounce back. It's all good feels, Haley. It's all good feels. Feels good with 1 week break from F1. Guys, we get to soak in these double race wins for a week. You know what I mean? We ain't got to get to Japan straight away. You know, the Oracle says, I still remember Bahrain 2023 stream like it was yesterday.
I was streaming from a hotel room in Bahrain.
Right, let's get on to the man. Some dark times, guys. Let's get on to the man himself. P1 Piastri, perfect from pole. Mahad, what a way to shush the critics. What a way to bounce back from what happened in Australia in his home race. Yep. Pole position. I mean, by the way, his sprint was brilliant as well. You know, the fact that in the sprint quali he qualified, what was it, P2? P3. And then he finished P2 in the exactly. He done Max in the race. Do you know what I mean? Like he was brilliant.
Yeah,
he was absolutely.
He looked
brilliant.
like he was on it.
He looked like,
because we saw this last year that if he has a bad result, then it ends up being another bad result the next race and the next race and the next race, right?
Yeah,
and he has to kind of get a good result to kind of string the good results together. He's a very much form guy. He's a confidence guy, right? And the fact that he had such a downer in Australia, I think some family and friends of him.
Yeah,
that was bad. He could have been the only Australian to ever finish on the podium, and then he kind of got the rain came and then it went away from him. But this weekend, he was just like, I'm getting my chain back.
Give my chain, man.
Give my chain. I'm recovering points back now, right? So sprint quality, I don't think either of them did good, because if you look at their optimal laps for Lando and Oscar, it should have been Oscar P1, Lando P2. So they're both under-delivered in that part. Because if you look at their optimal laps about their each best sector in the qualifying session, they should have been on pole comfy, but both of them. And that, I think that is a product of the car not being dialed in. That the car was not dialed in properly.
So it wasn't like human error mistakes as such. It was more so just.
I think it was human error mistakes because the car was snapping and it was all over the gap, right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't push in one sector and then not pushing the other sector. It was strange for him. But in a bad situation in that scenario, Oscar got the best out of the car. Got a P3, so therefore he was in the striking distance of getting a good result. Right, and he managed to get Verstappen at the end when Verstappen's tires were cooked. Right, so fantastic performance in the sprint, collect some points, recovery, and then in the main qualifying, he did his thing, man. He did his thing. Like he was there each quali session. He was up there. You think P2 might have spooked him a little bit because Lando went 4 tenths clear.
Yeah,
in Q2, and he looked like, oh, okay, he's back now. And I think that's where Lando started to hook stuff up again. But in the last lap, Lando made a mistake. He didn't make a mistake and managed to put it on pole. Not once, but twice. I think both of his laps were good enough for pole.
Correct.
So, and he got the track record.
And he didn't.
If you're going to get your first pole, you're going to get pole with 2 laps, get the track record,
Yeah.
For your first pole position, it's absolutely fantastic work.
And the thing is, he didn't need to improve that time, did he? Because it was still better than George's time.
So he had 2 pole laps. And he had the track record.
Oh, fantastic.
Your name is going to be there, bro. Fastest lap done on that track.
Yeah, I'm so happy, so impressed, so like delighted for Oscar. Honestly, I was very much like, I felt for him in Australia, man. I felt for him bad, and it was very much a case of, you know, let's prove these guys wrong. Like, I don't want to see a repeat of last year where it goes from this was a horrible session, next week's a horrible one, the week after that is a horrible one. Then you might do something good once you've been completely wiped out of people's memory. The fact that it's straight away, it's like, no. Listen, it's a new weekend, and you know, credit to you know, like Zach Brown gives me the impression that he's a very much, and I don't know if that's just an American thing I've got in my mind, but just the way that they seem so positive and so like everything, the words of affirmation and all that kind of thing, where I could see Zach putting his arm around the shoulder and be like, dude, you're still the guy. You're still the best rookie that's ever existed. You're still the best. You know, there's a reason we took you from Alpine. There's a reason why we've got you in this car. You know, you've gone with us through this journey, and I could just imagine him saying, look, just visualize that win. I told you, because he said after the, you know, how much we could believe it, but after the race, Zach Brown did say, I told him he would get on pole and I told him he would win the race.
Yeah,
you know, if that's the kind of conversations going on, if that's what you're having as backroom staff, like in moments like this, mate,
you got to instill the confidence in your drivers. This is what's happening. You have to create an environment where you let your drivers know, look, you guys can do this, right?
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
And I think for Oscar, like he needs that, because I think he's the one that previously, I think last year, he doesn't get stuff out of his mind. The bad session from previous will go on into another race, then another race, and it will turn into a string of bad races, right? With Lando's learned how to just compartmentalize and be like, okay, he will move on to the next session, let alone the next race. And so we go again, right? So it's really about trying to instill that mentality into Oscar as well. Oscar gives off the demeanor that he's the calm one, and he's even keeled, you know, composed and so on and so on. Yeah, that's just the outside. You have to look at the actual driving and what the results are, innit? And he seems to be the one that, if it goes off the boil, it stays off the boil a little bit. And that's something that I think McLaren probably recognized towards the end of the season, and they've helped him correct that. And instilled that confidence in him, because you got to speak to him and be like, yo, you can do this, man. You're in the fastest car now. Both you and Lando, this is your shot, man. Do your thing. And this is where you win championships, guys. Everybody talks about, oh, you need a first driver, second driver. Nonsense, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, these two are pushing each other to be better, right?
Yeah.
Oscar's gone out there like, I got smacked in the mouth in Australia. This guy won the race in my backyard.
Yeah.
He put it on pole. He did his thing. I'm going to come back stronger. And then Lando's going to see what happened this weekend and be like, okay, let me do my thing in Suzuka. And it's going to keep pushing each other higher and higher and higher. And whoever be able to end up at the top is going to be the one that wins the title or has a shot at the title.
Yeah. It's incredible. Just want to say to Who Wants to Groove, he's working, but has joined us just to say a quick hi. Shout out to Manraj, who says he made it to the live. Guys, do me a favor, everyone, smash a like on this video. We're talking Oscar Piastri. What a phenomenal weekend he's had. What a great drive on Sunday, as well as his quali on Saturday. Let me go through your comments as well. Drea says Oscar was excellent the whole weekend. Best weekend of his career. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. And, you know, what adds to that is the fact of what he did come across from Australia. I know we keep repeating about Australia and you know, come back this, come back that. But it's important because it happened last week. You know, it wasn't a 2-week break. And then we've got this Oscar. Oscar literally got on a plane from Australia to China. And then bang, sprint weekend, off we go. And by the way, I don't know if you saw the carnage about teams getting their cars and parts to China on time. Like I heard that we were one of them that kind of got a bit of a delay. And it does make you think, like, A, why didn't we just go from Australia to Japan first and then to China? Or B, why wouldn't the Chinese Grand Prix be 2 weeks from Australia? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But when I was hearing all that nonsense, I was like, oh, come on. We don't need shenanigans ahead of the race weekend.
I know, and it's always our freight or our team that's involved in it.
Do you know what I mean?
But it's important that Stella said something important after the race, and he said, we looked at that race last year in China because it was one of the Oscar's worst races. And we spoke to him, and then we analyzed that was one of the races we analyzed. I was like, okay, how do we improve?
How do we improve?
And look, he went from a bad race last year to winning the same race. This is where the progress is. This is the step. And he's definitely made a step. He made a step in qualifying, and he made a step in the race. So let's see what happens, man. This is good, man. If we've got 2 shots at the title now,
man, that's
fantastic, man.
Listen, I'll have a Rosberg Hamilton 2016, 2014,
give
whatever.
Me,
15,
what's that saying? I forgot the name. I'm gonna find out the saying, but yeah. Like, I'd rather have 2 drivers that are fast, fight for wins, than have one that's in P9.
Absolutely. Steph says, no notes for Oscar. Beautiful. 10 out of 10. Winning from his first pole ever after what happened in Australia. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Indeed it was. It was absolutely phenomenal scenes. Jean Cartier says, I give Lando 9.5. If it wasn't for the brakes, I'd give him a 10. Fair enough. That's interesting. Both drivers, says Drea, are just happy both drivers are just happy within this team. Yeah, both drivers are happy in this team. Absolutely. But they both help each other a lot. I think they learn from each other all the time. Just as you were saying, like the fact that they, Lando's now watching Oscar have this one, the pole and win and think, nah, man, it's my turn next. Oscar watched what happened, as you said. Oscar watched what Lando did in his backyard in Australia, and it can only strengthen one another. You found the saying, or you're still looking for it?
No, I found it. No, I gave up.
You gave up on it.
I'm eating sweets now.
Yeah, you're sweet. The Oracle says, I will say, and you saw it on the MFTV account. Those radios had me stressed out.
What, telling him to slow down, speed up?
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
I think you can't ignore people doing a 2-stop. But then remember, we spoke about this last year, saying that if we're in the lead, we need to dictate the strategy.
Oh yeah, 100%. We said this.
So if we decide we're doing a 1-stop, we're doing a 1-stop. We don't need to check if these men are doing 2 stops.
Yeah, that's true.
But they were telling, Lando, speed up, get out of, create a gap between you and Russell.
Yeah.
Just in case they do a 2-stop and we need to box.
Because it was too close.
But if we're the guys that are leading 1-2, we don't need to think about them, man, behind us.
But you don't think George was too close for comfort? Because what we loved about Lando's win, right? Well, to be fair, was Lando's win that big? I'm trying to remember the gap in Australia. How big was his race win? Let's see. Lando, no, in fact, it's literally 0.8 tenths of a second ahead of Verstappen. But I think we want that kind of we want to have that freedom of 20 seconds. You know what I mean? We want a Verstappen, a Hamilton kind of win. A Schumacher.
The track limited us, man. If that was the old surface, we would have won by 20 seconds.
That's a fair point. No, that's a fair point. We could have done. Yeah, could have done. But you know what I'll say about Team Radio? Unless you have listened to the whole Team Radio from start to finish.
Yeah.
Like I was hearing about what was going on with Hamilton's Team Radio with Ferrari.
Yeah, how they took it out of context.
And then apparently they took it really out of context. And I just thought, you know what? All right, cool, innit? Pinch of salt business. Like, what's going on?
I listened to the whole radio, usually on like a Tuesday or something.
Do you watch it after?
On the YouTube, I watched the whole radio, Oscar Lando. Okay. The one thing I don't like is that Will Johnson is still speaking too much. Can you speak like 5 words? Just that's it. Why are you doing? Let's be more.
Man, paragraphs. With our words, man. You're getting the paragraphs in there, man.
I think once they realized it was a 1-stop, they stopped that nonsense. But it was too late anyway because the brakes thing happened.
And then the brakes happened. Yeah.
I think we need to be more. And I agree with you that you can't ignore cars behind you. You're just doing your own thing. But at the end of the day, I feel like you need to, if you're going to be aggressive on strategy, you need to force other teams to look at your strategy rather than you looking at this.
But the confidence isn't
you
there.
need to be clear, like, we're doing a one-stop, guys. What are you lot doing? Because at the end of the day, if you made it clear that you're doing a one-stop, and they started doing the two stops, they would have ended up like Hamilton and end up way back.
Yeah,
would have won by more of a gap.
It's just that they obviously haven't got the confidence yet to run the show. You know, like when Red Bull put out a stint, you just know guys follow. Just don't even
Red Bull in that scenario is like we're doing a one-stop.
Yeah, we don't need to worry.
Don't worry about them, man.
John McLaren says, I think this weekend showed that we may struggle early doors on sprint weekends. I think it takes more than FP1 to set the car up.
Do you remember before last year, our car was set up from FP1?
I was going to say, last year, it felt like the sprints worked for us because everybody else was trying to sort themselves out. And we got
that's
it.
That's why we ate on sprint weekends.
Yeah, we used to eat on them. Now we're just there.
Now we need all 3 practice sessions to get the car balanced.
We need it. Maybe because the car's faster. Exactly. Maybe because the car's better. Drea says, last year we expected to be bad because it's a front limited track, and that's a weakness. It wasn't that way last year, but this weekend back to normal.
That's bad news. If the car's weak on front limited tracks when the majority of tracks are front limited, that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, last year,
we've got 2 wins from 2, man.
2 and 2, mate. 2 different kind of circuits, 2 different styles of racing. Richard says, I'm predicting another 5 wins this season minimum. He's going to make up for the lost wins last year. 5 wins for Piastri, more.
Listen, if he's going to win a title, he needs more than 5, mate. We need 9.
It's a good question. How many, if you were to guess, how many wins do you think Oscar Piastri gets for the rest of the season? 22 races to go.
I think 9. 8 or 9.
Damn. 8, 9.
This is stat pad season, guys, man. Both of these guys need double digit. At the end of the season, both of these men need to be in double digit wins.
I tell you what, bro.
Oscar, by the end of the year, needs to have more wins than Mark Webber. How much wins have Mark Webber got? Let me check. He needs to have more wins than Mark Webber.
Bro, like, what's it called? Bottas has 10.
I think both these guys have to have more than 10 wins.
Ricardo, I think, has got 8.
So he's got Mark Webber, how many wins? He's got 9 victories. Oscar, you can get 10. You can get to. So Oscar needs. So he's got 3 right now. He only needs 7. Okay, get 7 more wins.
Yo.
And you got more wins than your. You don't do a title talk yet. Okay. Actually, do you know what? If it's between obviously Lando and Oscar, for the title, only Lando and Oscar.
Yeah.
One of these guys are getting more than 10 wins.
Yeah, for sure.
But if it's other guys are in the mix and they're winning races, then obviously I'll mute. I'll be quiet.
Russell
5 wins, baby.
Yeah. 6 wins. I think Russell Verstappen. I even think Kimi Antonelli will get a win somewhere this season.
That'd be amazing.
Obviously the Ferraris, you know what I mean? You can't necessarily ignore them. They will get a win at some stage. So yeah, Alex says I was hearing nonsense on the radio and McLaren PTSD was.
Listen, it's understandable. If you're a McLaren fan, and the one thing that I kind of go is when I see McLaren radios on the broadcast, bro. I don't want to see it. If I see Russell's radio, no, Norris's radio on the screen. Why is it on the screen? I want to hear it.
Yeah, please. It's true.
I feel like what the broadcasters doing now is that they're putting our radios on every 5 seconds, man. It's like Hamilton back in the day, man, when he was saying his tires gone. Every single Hamilton radio came on.
Yeah,
they're doing that to us now, man. Especially Lando. I don't want to hear
it. It depends who's P2, innit? You watch Oscar. If Oscar's behind Lando, it'll be full on Oscar radio. Oscar
don't even speak, man. Somebody did a stat about who speaks the most on the radio. Yeah, Oscar's barely in the top. He's right at the bottom. You know, he barely speaks on the radio.
That's what I like, man. That's what I like. Z says, George
said, who else used to do that? Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo never used to speak on the radio.
It was just understood, wasn't it? Everything was understood.
Yeah, he barely spoke on the radio.
Z said, George said that it was obvious the race would be a one-stop and he was hoping McLaren would stop twice. The Oracle says, Will Joseph is on an answer my riddles 3 to figure out the lap you need to pit on. Tire thing, yeah, it's hilarious. Manraj says the Sky broadcast loves Lando's radios. They do at this moment in time. Jordan, look at yourself, says, damn, I'm saying 12 more wins for both drivers combined.
Wait a minute. That's not even mathematically possible. There's 24 races, bro.
Man said 6 each. That's it. That's I've done for the season. Richard does say
I thought you said 12 wins each. My bad.
No. As in combined. Richard said Russell's definitely 5 wins out of nowhere. That's definitely happening. I can definitely see that. But I can see Max winning races too.
Russell's the kind of lucky guy that both our brakes fell. Running P1, P2, and he's just there. And collects the win.
He was 30 seconds behind.
Collected a win out of nowhere.
Yeah. He was 30 seconds behind in P3 and he still won the race. But yeah, that's what you can see happening. That's actually what you can see happening.
Moving like Alonso. Remember when we used to have our car failing and Alonso gets wins? We gifted Alonso so many wins.
We did indeed. People, it's time to do some scores. Pit crew. Now, I know some of you have already put some in the chat, so I would like to go and check out what some of you guys did. Ella says pit crew 8 out of 10. What are you guys saying, pit crew? What are you saying, Mahad? Because they had a stinker with Oscar's one.
Oh, stop!
I saw a 3.8. I think
stinker.
I think I saw a 3.8.
Lando's one was quite good. Let me actually check. I have to check the pit stops, man.
Mind you, the Piastri one. Brundle blamed Piastri for over.
Yeah, he overshot it.
So I don't know which way to go.
He did that in Spa as well, and it might have cost him the win that day. Remember that day, Spa. When
yes, I do remember the Spa one. Alex says pit crew 7. Drea says 5. 1 good, which was and 1 bad. 2 and 3.
Sometimes very good, sometimes very shit.
Yeah, sometimes maybe good. The thing is, yeah, that 3.8 scared the crap out of me, man. I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Where is it, man? Okay. I've got the table out now. We've got the 4th fastest pit stop with Norris.
4th fastest with the 2.2, yeah?
2.27. Ferrari, man. Leclerc got 2 seconds flat, man. They're doing a thing, man.
They probably rinsed that. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but then I'm trying to scroll down. I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find Piastri. I'm still scrolling, bro. It was the second slowest pit stop.
Second slowest.
It was 24 out of 25 pit stops. Tsunoda had the longest pit stop, 17 seconds. Change it all
that front wing, innit? Yeah. I mean, I'd go with so front wing. Besides the front wing, we would have been the slowest pit stop.
Yeah, we had the slowest tire pit stop.
God.
So we had the slowest and we had the 4th quickest. So I don't know how you measure that.
6.5. 6.5 then.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6.5.
6.5 for me.
I'm just deferring to you, man.
I'll pick.
If we look at the standings of the pit crews, you're right about us warming up because we wasn't good for the first 5 races last year.
Fair enough.
I think right now in the team table, we are 6th.
Yeah.
Ferrari are 1st. Racing Bulls are 2nd. Ferrari's got bare points, man. Their pit stops are elite, bro.
They're hot at the minute. Jordan's right here. Listen, it is a long season, and teams will definitely catch up. Yeah, the start of one season and then the middle and then the end are completely different. You can make them into 3 different seasons. I'll give you that for sure, Jordan. No word of a lie. Okay, let's talk strategists. We went with the one stop.
We did the job. We did the one stop. I think once they recognized that it was a one stop, they stuck with it.
They did.
They didn't do dally. I don't think there's anything that was detrimental to our race that the strategy team did. At all. They managed the pace as well. They told Oscar speed up, give Norris out of that. Yeah, I think people might think this is crazy, but I think you can't tell Norris about the brake thing 20 laps. You have to tell him later on. You can't tell him immediately when it's happening.
Yeah, because it can cause a panic, can't it?
Yeah.
And it just causes something.
I know it could cause a panic. Also, you're telling your rivals.
Yeah, because
they'll tell Russell, push.
I'm sure Russell
this guy's brakes are cooked. Get him.
Yeah. The thing is, is that the reason why Lando didn't heed to it in the beginning, though? Because he might have been told later on down the line. I mean, for all we know, it could have been 40 laps that this brake was an issue, right?
Yeah.
And let's just say they said it from 20 onwards, but Lando was just like, yeah, whatever. Fastest lap. You know what I mean? He's still
drive.
Hard braking.
Yeah.
Exit out the corner.
They warned him, okay, chill out with the hard braking. But it's kind of like
he didn't listen.
I don't know what systems they got. They can see everything on the computer screen. They see everything, single thing, right? So they must have seen it immediately when it happens. Like, what's going on with this guy's brakes?
Yeah.
But they can't say that over the radio to Norris straight away because Russell's right behind him.
And also, I'm sure the FIA would have got involved had it been.
Oh yeah, they'll say, "Oh, this is unsafe."
One more a bit more sketchy than I'm surprised they didn't get involved. If I'm honest, yeah. But Ella said 7 out. Wait, what did Ella say? Sorry, did I put 7? Ella said, yeah, she said 7 out of 10. Drea says 9. Oracle says 9. Z agrees with you. Reincarnation says 9. Z says 9. Drea says if they tell Lando earlier, then the other teams would have known. And I think Lando pushed to get a gap to George, and then they told him late They told him late it could get critical. Yeah, they did say it was critical.
The other teams, it's not about even the other teams will tell the FIA. This guy's got no place. Bring him in, black flag him.
Well, Russell would be on that. Russell's that big snitch, man. He would have been on that hard.
I'll give the strategy team an 8.
The thing is,
8.5. They didn't do anything wrong. I think they did everything right.
They didn't do anything wrong. I think when you're 1-2, when you start on pole, like when you're like, I just genuinely think like, what is there to do? Like your work has been done for you because you put the car on pole. Norris qualified. Where did Norris qualify in the thingy? Was
P3,
it P3 qualified? So you got 1 and 3. Okay,
and then by the first corner, it's 1 and 2.
It was 1 and 2 by the first corner. Race done. Race done. Do you know what I mean? Just don't drop the ball, basically.
That's
so
whatever that was, that's how Monza should have gone.
That's how Monza should have gone. Yeah, I'll give them a 9. I'll give them a 9 for it because they didn't fumble this one. Drivers, let's start things off with Lando Norris.
I am gonna give Lando Norris a 6.5.
6.5.
We know the standards he's at, man. This is below standards.
These are not the standards.
These are not the standards.
Ella says
the positive thing is the race. But every session after that, before that, no. It's not.
Yeah, it was not good enough. 6.5, Mahad.
I'm giving him the 0.5 for the race. It should be a 6.
Z says 7. Steph says
this is a race that he finished P2 comfy last year in a car that was significantly slower.
Yeah, Reincarnation says 6.5. Yeah, that's the thing. Alex says that feels like 2 different Landos. It's hard to rate it as one.
Alex, you're the Oracle. Don't cop out. You got to pick one.
Yeah, you got to pick one. 6
remember the standards on this, you know. Remember, we our right ratings are we don't be handing out 8s and 9s and stuff like that. We don't do that.
No, we don't. We don't. Manraj says 6. Dre says Lando gets a 7. The race saved him. That was flawless. Good bounce back. Quali was okay. Rest was bad. I'm going 7, Mahad. Okay, 6.5 just feels way too much
for a P2. Am I being too harsh? African dad.
It's basically that it's like he got a distinction in the B Tech. He didn't do the A level, but he did the B Tech and got distinction. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a tough one. You know, like in football, if you're 2-0 down but you win 3-2, how do I rate that performance?
Am I punishing? No, but then he didn't. He
didn't win yet.
He was 2-0 down and he made it 2-1.
I made it 2-1.
Still lost the game.
God, you guys are solid, man. 6. Pre-race Lando was a 4. Race Lando was like an 8.5. I'll meet in the middle and say 6. The race alone, it would have been 10. Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough. This is the hardest one for Lando Norris we've had to do.
I'm saying 6.5. I'm not budging. We know
I will go 7. You can have a bad day at the office. Race 2 of the season. I'll go 7.
Remember, our ratings are for the weekend.
It's true. No, it's true. It's true. But he got points regardless, innit? Where did he qualify? 6, wasn't it? In the sprint shootout.
Yeah. And it ended up 6, innit?
And ended up 7th. Ended up 7th, I think.
That's an L, man.
That's an L.
Man had to do recovery drive to get to a position that he was already ahead when he qualified.
I'm going to give him a 7. Any more shenanigans like that, Lando, you're going down, mate. You're going down for a 6. Oscar Piastri, 10. 10.
This shouldn't be a question. 10, man.
superb.
We know what we give 10s for. That's the ultimate 10.
This
we
is
gave Lando a 10 last week for pole and win. This is pole and win. This is 10. I did not see him on my feed.
No, I didn't see him on my feed. Did he have a special helmet? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Z
I
says,
don't even know what he looks at. All I know is when he got out of the car.
Z says this is McLaren's second longest point scoring streak, 40 races. Come on, boys. Well done. Well done. Z goes on to say 10 for Oscar Piastri. Steph says 10. No question. Andrea says 10. Guys, it's a suit. TSJ Awesome. Why 9? I just want to get. Let's get your thoughts. Why Oscar?
Why 9? We know we give 10s out, especially when it's pole and win. Come on.
Manraj says 10. Reincarnation 10. Yeah, I want to know where the 9 came from. Where's that 9? Because is it the dive bomb in the pits? Oh, it can't be. It can't be.
What?
Alex says I almost considered a 9.5 for Oscar for the sprint quali missing pole, but no, it's a 10. That would have been harsh.
That's harsh, man.
That would have been harsh. But yeah,
mate, shit. So points consecutively.
Yeah,
we've scored points consecutively, guys, from every race between Austria 2023 and China 2025. We scored points every single weekend.
That's fantastic.
That is. Let me just check this. That is 11th longest streak all time.
Of all time. This McLaren in this era,
right? Wow. And this is the second longest streak in McLaren history.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Red Bull's on a streak as well from Saudi Arabia 2022 to now. Verstappen is patented.
It stinks, man. Flipping out. TSJ also says
we are on a very, very, very long streak. If we carry on for, I don't know, 15 more races, we're gonna be in like the top 5, man.
We need that max DNF, bro. That's what we need, man. We need that max DNF. We've been praying for it for ages.
Crazy for McLaren, man.
Yeah, TSJ Awesome says quali and race 10, sprint section 8. Okay. I can see the 8. Fair enough. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a 10. It's a 10. Man. I'm a harsh critic, but even I can admit it's a 10 from Oscar. Oscar has 28 in a row, I think. Oh, really?
Let me check. Let me check the drivers because I've already been looking at.
Drea's asking how long is the longest. Did you say it was a Red Bull one? Is that the Saudi Arabia?
The longest points consecutive streak is Ferrari, Germany 2010 to Singapore 2014, 81 races in a row. They scored points. We are nowhere near that.
No championship though.
In that time.
Neither championship, bro. Not even the drivers.
Why did you say that? You said between 2010 and 2014, the Alonso days.
I just had to bring it back because that was too good of a stat.
You lot did not win a championship in that time. And I'm looking at it now, yeah. You know what the third longest one is? It's McLaren, 64 races, 2010 to 2013.
Really?
We didn't win a championship either.
No, we did not.
We just sat padding with Jensen and Lewis.
Magic Mike in the building. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're good. Lando, listen, this time it's P1 Piastri. That's
I'll check. Let me check the drivers.
Oh yeah, 10 for Oscar. Yeah, of course, 10 for Oscar, obviously. Richard, you're so funny.
Oscar Piastri is on the 4th longest streak of all time.
Sorry?
Oscar Piastri is on the 4th longest point scoring streak of all time.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Are you hearing this, guys? From Las Vegas 2023 to China 2025. He's been scoring points.
Of all time.
Points consecutive. Is this for weekends? Because I feel like it has to be weekends because one of these is not a sprint race. One of these are sprint races. Miami was a sprint race for sure. Remember Miami last year?
Yeah. I remember Miami last year.
So Oscar is 4th all time. Lando's 6th all time.
Wow.
So Lando is from AD 2023 to China 2025. Because remember, Lando DNF'd in Las Vegas. And Oscar's one started in Las Vegas. So there's only one difference, you know?
Yeah.
So Oscar's on 28 in a row. Lando's on 27 in a row.
And then Lando's on 27 because of what? Austria? Was it because of Austria last year?
No. Oh, Austria don't count as a DNF. He did 90% of the race distance.
Oh, okay.
Don't count as a DNF.
Fair.
So
I mean,
the longest one was Max Verstappen. No, the longest one's Lewis Hamilton, Silverstone 2018 to Bahrain 2020. 48 races in a row, scored points.
Wow. That's crazy, man. That's
So
actually crazy.
Lando Norris is the head of Michael Schumacher, 2001 to 2003.
And do you remember what kind of drugs Schumacher was taking in 2001 to 2003?
So both our drivers, they're better than Schumacher, guys.
It was a write-off.
Both our drivers are better than Schumacher. The only people that are ahead of Oscar Piastri right now is Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton.
Mate, that's the perfect way to end it, I think, on the fact that Oscar Piastri...
That's one for your stats on
yeah, for China.
For China.
That's the one, man. That's the one. I mean, it's been a fantastic one. Do we do a quick prediction of the Japanese Grand Prix? What do we think? Quali,
one of our guys is getting pole. I don't know who.
Are we going to make it 3 poles in a row? Yeah,
4 poles in a row, man.
4. Sorry, yeah. Including...
I think we're getting 1-3. I don't know which way though. But I think we're getting 1-3.
1-3. Yeah. Who's in the middle? Who's in that sandwich?
You know who, man?
George Russell.
Russell, man.
Oh my god. I think
all I know is that we could go into every weekend thinking, yeah, we got a shot of winning, we got a shot of. This is what it's about, man. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about, oh yeah, but one driver's being favored over the other. You guys are you're seeing demons, you're seeing delusions, man. You're just trying to see problems in the thing that we're in paradise right now, guys.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
It's true. Oracle says, I love the season. I love it too, man. I love it too. Guys, like I still can't believe we're in here. We're even here. Drea says, I mean, look, we have 2 insanely good drivers, that's for sure. 4 poles in a row, 4 wins in a row, says Z.
Let's keep going, man. Let's make that a new streak. Forget about this point scoring streak.
That's the one, yeah.
Let's get pole streak.
Pole streaks, yeah. I mean, that sandwich for me is Max Verstappen. I know yours is George Russell, mine's Max Verstappen. Lando Norris to win as well, because he's going to respond to Oscar's pole and win. So, yeah. Guys, that wraps up this week's McLaren Fan TV live post Chinese Grand Prix. It's been nothing but phenomenal. It's been a pleasure having you guys here. And we'll be back. Well, I was going to say
online, everybody. Just chill out. We're enjoying life, man. We're in first class flights right now.
Listen, you've got to enjoy it. Enjoy every moment of it. Get on the socials, by the way, at MFTV, at McLaren Fan TV on Twitter, X. Get in the conversations, because we're going to drink this in. We're going to enjoy this and drink this in. You know what I mean? Enjoy every second, as Drea says.
You want to use that, guys?
Give it.
Time since last win. Piastri 2 days ago. Norris 9 days ago. Love life.
Look at that. Look at that. And on that wonderful note, we'll see you. I think it will have to be I don't know what you think, the Monday or the Wednesday after Japan, because Tuesday is a match day.
When is Japan? The 5th and 6th, isn't it?
Yeah, Japan is 6th.
Let's do the 7th then.
You want to do the 7th? Okay.
7th.
We'll do the 7th then. We'll see you guys Monday the 7th of April. Enjoy March. Enjoy it. Yeah, drink it in.
It's been a McLaren March, guys.
It's been a McLaren. Oh, lovely. A McLaren March. On that, people.
That Ollie Behrman said. Ciao.
Ciao.